Doing great.
Lisa Marie Carr. I'd like to know a little more about you. So, as we do these programs, people understand your drive to being a magistrate.
Right. Well, thank you, Eddie. I'll be really quick and short.
No,
I
you aren't.
was inspired to become a magistrate through my passion and compassion for ex-offenders. Whilst a lot of people in society, and I certainly am not condoning crime, but I have had an opportunity growing up in Haringey, Northeast London, to grow alongside a lot of individuals that took different courses in life than me. As Dr. Angela Herbert said, she's a Christian, so am I, and I became a Christian at 21. And my faith inspired the direction that I took. So I became quite academic, slightly late. Before then, I had a lot of friends who were offenders and also some family members. So my experience was very much one of seeing things up close and personal. And because of that, I always had an opportunity to understand the story behind some people's actions, especially young people in gangs. My desire to understand things a bit more meant that I did a master's in criminology. And that was after my social work degree, because I wanted to test the nature versus nurture question.
Yeah.
Are people born with a criminologic gene?
Born bad. Yes.
As some like to say. And I disagreed with that. I think people are born innocent and pure, and it's about your experiences and those that you influence you, your environment. I was able to become a magistrate only 2 years ago after inquiring 15 years ago, and Operation Black Vote inspired me at the time. I honestly was scared. I didn't want to answer the big question that a lot of people of color may think they know someone or are related to someone who is an offender. And the question that is asked is, are you related to anyone who has committed any kind of criminal offense? And I just did not want to expose my personal life. I felt like that was private. And whilst it wasn't my story, it was a story of people I loved. And I just decided, if I tell them that I'm related to people who have gone to prison, I won't get this opportunity. So for 15 years, I sat and did nothing about this desire that I had until recently.
What would you now, having done it, having helped, having achieved, what was your life's dream? What would you say to yourself, that person who was reluctant to go because you didn't want to tell somebody else's story?
I would say, go for it. Go for it immediately. I lost 15 years of being able to have a voice in such an important and privileged position. When I sit on the bench, I'm able to fairly and respectfully hear cases about real people's lives, with very serious, sometimes, consequences. I don't have regrets about my life, but I wish I'd been brave enough to apply then, because the journey of application was still hard. It took a year for the whole process to happen. And I've been to the Old Bailey, supporting individuals in my family that have been at cases. And the Old Bailey is not for little crimes.
Oh, it's daunting. I've been there.
Very much so. So to be sworn in the Old Bailey was life-changing, and it was very tearful for me. So I think if I was writing a letter to my younger self, I'd say, try it, because at least to have tried it and fail means that I did what I was destined to try and do.
And
so
you are.
I'm finally there.
And you are. And you are. And I mean, all epic journeys begin with a single step. Just to tell you about this, yesterday, day before yesterday, I hosted an event where the lady was on with us a few months ago, Leela. Leela is head honcho at Urban Synergy. Now, I'm a trustee there, and the chair of trustees is a man I'd love to get on here. I begged him to come on my show. His name is Courtney Griffith, QC. Now, Courtney told me yesterday. Now, if you don't know who he is, he was one of the people that defended the Brighton bomber. He was in the second inquest in the New Cross fire. He's just in the legal profession as a person of color. He's just like the top of person. Just take that one from me. And he said to me, I think there are 18 courts at the Old Bay, and he said every single day, Eddie, 15 of those 18 courts are caught up with young men, black and white, who are on trial for murder. So if anybody's in any confusion as to why we're doing what we're doing and making interventions, I lay it down before you. Let me ask you one really important question, because here's the one. I know people who've gone out with police to observe. I know people who have volunteered, and you would have heard me with Angela, who I love very much. But I have to ask the question, so I think that people at home are asking, what do you, as a black woman, bring to the party when you sit there as a magistrate?
I bring a honesty and a respect that I can only talk about myself. So those sitting beside me, all respect to them and their experiences. But growing up, I was in a gang. I have seen a lot in my time. I'm 49, and I have had an opportunity to make right choices when many of my friends made wrong ones. And I think that, and I wanted to give you some statistics about the fact that the BAME community need to get more involved if they can, because we are underrepresented. We have a lot of women magistrates, but we don't have enough men. We certainly don't have enough black men. We need younger people to get involved in this. A lot of people think that the magistrates is only for the old. We typically think that old white people are magistrates because when we see the TV or we actually go to a court, that's what we see.
That's exactly right.
But the thing is, when I sit there and I see a little black boy on a video link from a Pentonville prison and he looks at me and he kind of does a double take, I know that he's thinking, okay, maybe I'll get a fair trial. And maybe that's their experience because I'm a fellow black person. Not that I'm going to hear the case any differently because they're black, but I'm certainly a person who has experienced things. And as a social worker, I also have life experience of working with some precious young people that have been through things. So I think that's what I bring to the table.
Step, and it would be great if you could just briefly give the audience a bit of an understanding of this. Is this a path that they too can walk? And if so, how can they get there?
Oh, absolutely. You can go, and I know that I've given Walk This Way some information in advance. So in relation to getting on the website, it's gov.uk/become magistrate. So as simple as that. You can even Google how to become a magistrate, which is, I didn't have to do that because the lovely Operation Black Vote helped me and guided me and told me exactly what to do. It's an online form, an online process. You'll fill out the application form. They will seek references before you actually are even interviewed. So you have to give 3 references. And if you have a criminal record, it may bar you from sitting because clearly you wouldn't want to be called to do a case where a victim of a crime you committed was actually in the dock. So it's a very, very simple process, just like applying for a job. And they do want more people to come forward. I'll just give you some stats. We have 1% of magistrates last year were under 30, and this was a Ministry of Justice report in September 2020 on diversity. So we had 1% that was under 30, 12% out of 100 were reported as being from the BAME community, 12.5% aged between 30 and 39, and 58% were female. So we do need more men. You don't need legal or formal qualifications to be a magistrate at all. You just need to apply. What's the worst that could happen? Whatever it takes for you to be part of the solution. So we're trying to inspire you here. But yeah, for me, all day long, I had to do this. I was scared, I'm not going to lie to you. But when I got sworn in, after I finished barling and I phoned my dad and I said, Daddy, I've done it. Then I got the opportunity to come in court. So now people say to me, oh my God, you're a magistrate. And I said, you can be too.